First of all, pleased that everyone's here, and we're a pretty happy group today. It's Monday, Victory Monday is what we call it after we get us a win, and going down and having that win come out of Troy, Alabama, somewhere we've never won before as a football program. We've never defeated them 2 times in a row, and just how the game unfolded. It was such a battle to the very end. And we expected it to be just exactly the way it played out. So we're really thrilled to death. Our players at times didn't play their best in certain areas, but found a way to stay poised and confident and come back in the second half to solidify that victory. It was very pleasing to see us go into halftime and be down and have to come back out. And they had a nice drive after the start of the third quarter. They drive it all the way down there, and I think Antavius Lane makes the pick and the strong return to get us kind of going, and really excited our sideline. I thought our sideline support was fantastic from the guys. We're out there pulling for each other, and we just came away with a very good win. We got a very good Coastal Carolina team rolling in here Saturday at 12 o'clock. Another Eastern Conference or Eastern Division conference foe, and them being ranked 20th in the country is pretty neat, to tell you the truth. They're very, very worthy of that ranking. They've got a good football team. Coach Chadwell has done a marvelous job, both in all 3 phases of with his program, offensively, defensively, and their special teams. And and I may be wrong on this, but I think there's only 11 undefeated teams in college football right now, and they're one of them. So it's going to be a big contest for us. We expect another hard-fought game, but we understand that each and every week. I mean, it's just what we're about in this conference. We all have a chance to knock each other off, and if we practice and prepare the way we should have an opportunity to go out and play a very good ball game. So. We'll see how it all plays out, but we're looking forward to this Saturday, 12 o'clock.
Thanks, Coach. At this time, we'll take questions from members of the media. If you would, unmute yourself, identify yourself, and feel free to ask your question.
How you doing, Coach? It's Julian Hart of The Signal. This will be your – sorry, my bad. This will be your second time playing a ranked opponent this season after Lafayette in the first game. What lessons did you take from the game against Lafayette that you may apply to the game against Charlotte, Coastal, since they're both very talented teams in the conference and in the nation?
I don't think I really look back at the Louisiana game and would take anything away from it other than finishing the second half. I mean, we started out very, very strongly against them and kind of faltered in the end. I would like for us to finish strong. They're both quality opponents. They're very, very good and well coached. And if we play our best, we'll have a chance to win. But anytime you face a talented, both physically and mentally, football team with a great staff that's prepared them very, very well, it's always a difficult task. So we've got to be really on top of things, and we can't shoot ourselves in the foot. We can't have a blocked extra point. We can't have any special team miscues, and we cannot turn the ball over. We're very fortunate this past weekend that we turned the ball over twice for touchdowns and came back and won the game. That's crazy to think. It doesn't happen in football very often, but our team stayed poised, and we can carry that hopefully into this Saturday against Coastal Carolina.
Nobody wants to go, I'll go. Sam Crenshaw, CW69, and Georgia State Football Radio Network, Panther Football Radio Network. You love to talk about the offensive line, and obviously we talk up those guys, but talk a little bit about your defense that at times this season has given your offense the ball in good field position and has put points on the board.
They really have. I mean, if you look at us this past Saturday, creating those turnovers against Arkansas State, you had another turnover for a touchdown. I mean, it's really remarkable to see that they're generating those turnovers at a very, very high rate. I think they're playing very, very well. I think we're giving up, when we do look at our defensive stats and kind of evaluate where we are, we give up the big play sometimes. We're very, very good in stopping the run at this point in time, but we're giving up the yards through the air. We've got to put some pressure on our our pass rushers to get to the quarterback and manage that game a little bit better. But I'm thrilled to death. I mean, you take a guy like Stretch, Jordan Strong, and just what he did this past Saturday. I mean, I think he calls 2 fumbles, recovered one of them. And then the week before, he calls another one, and Blake returned it for a touchdown. Antavius Lane is another guy that just gets his hands on the football a lot. And, as long as we continually to do those types of things, we're going to have a chance. Opportunistic defenses like that can take the ball away, in the end are very, very successful. And I think that we're on track to be that.
Hey, Shawn, Dan Wolken, USA Today here. I just want to jump in real quick. Yeah, I wanted to ask you about next Tuesday. The NCAA mandated that that's a day off for the election. I don't know, if your players are going to have already voted by that point, but I'm just curious as a coach, is it it was a little bit frustrating at all to kind of have a mandated day off when you don't have a lot of preparation time to begin with?
I mean, yeah, most of these guys, they're out of state or not from the Atlanta area. They've got the absentee ballot. They've had their voting taken care of already. Certainly it's going to take away from our preparation, but if it's, I think it's the right thing to do, to tell you the truth, to give these guys the opportunity, the ones that have not voted. I'm not one to sit here and say which way is the best, but I know it does take away a day of preparation, but we'll make it back. That's not a problem.
Well, thanks, Shawn. Good luck this week.
Thank you.
Coach, if I can go back to Sam's question earlier about the defense and about the way Michael's played, he's another one of those guys who, like Antavius, it seems like is gonna stick his nose in and make some plays. Did you see that coming from him, especially coming off the injury that he's had to do?
Who was that you're talking about?
Strawn.
Jordan? Yes. Listen, I mean, had he not torn his ACL at Tennessee, he was going to have an extremely successful year for us last season. He had that injury, and he had to battle back as much physically as he did mentally, but he was a guy that made so many plays in our fall camp and our preseason practices and continued to do it, right up until each and every game. So it wasn't no secret that he had that ability to create explosive defensive plays, whether it's in the pass rushing or it's in his coverage. It's amazing to think that he was a free safety, and now here he is. He's an outside linebacker coming off the edge, and he's got great power and presence in his pass rushing ability. He's got a knowledge of stripping the football and getting it out of the quarterback's hands, as you can see that this past week. So he's done everything we've asked him to do. A lot of times guys that become injured, the mental part is probably the hardest thing to overcome, but he worked extremely hard to get back and become the explosive player that he was before. And now we're reaping the benefits of it.
I think I did call him Michael because his name is spelled the same as Strahan. So
I was wondering who you were talking about.
Yeah,
just Michael.
Yeah, he pronounces it different, but he spells it alike. So
yeah.
But those were certainly 2 big plays he made for you guys recovering the fumbles over the weekend, and I guess he's a conference player of the week because of that.
He certainly is, and I believe that's 2 of them that we've had this year. Antavius Lane was one, had a pick 6 earlier. And here we are. And we call him Stretch around here, or at least I do. Stretch with the Sun Belt Defensive Player of the Week. That's always a great honor. And he's very deserving of it. And his last 2 ball games have been really, really top notch.
Coach, you talked about the turnovers on offense with Quad throwing the ball. What's the balance that you have to find? Because he can do some amazing things throwing the ball, but also limiting those a couple pick 6 in the last couple games.
I just told him, I said, listen, punting the football is a good thing. It's not the worst. He seems to think it's the worst thing ever. I'm like, listen, a lot of times that's beneficial. So you don't have to win the game with every throw. And I want him to understand that. He's a great young man that has a lot of confidence. And I just I want him to understand that the game can't be won on each and every play. So sometimes tossing that ball out of bounds and having that fourth down punt come up is a good thing. So he'll understand that. But that's just him being competitive and wanting to be successful in every single play. I certainly don't fault him for that. We want all our quarterbacks and all our players to want to do that and try to make an explosive play and expect to make an explosive play for us each and every time. I love that mentality, but he certainly does need to understand that that punting can be beneficial for us too.
Coach, looking ahead to Coastal, what are the challenges they're going to present on offense, and how much of an impact is maybe the open-ended injury nature of their quarterback McCall going to affect how you game plan for this?
Well, they're so creative offensively. You know, they've got their option attack. They've got some inside run game. So they can hit you on the perimeter and they can hit you with a play action pass. And then they have their inside zone runs and things of that nature. The old belly G play is something we'll have to take care of as well. As far as their quarterback's concerned, we're not going to prepare any differently. I expect him to play. Our staff expects him to play, and we're going to prepare as if he's going to play until he shows up on Saturday in street clothes. So I'm not really all that worried about who we're preparing for. We've got to prepare for a very, very good offensive football team and be ready to go with whatever they bring out.
Coach, I feel like sometimes you'll face a ranked team or a team from a Power 5, and some teams will get intimidated. But your teams, you go toe-to-toe with Louisiana. You beat Tennessee last year. How do you get your team so confident and knowing they can play in every game?
I think preparation is the key for any contest. If you're prepared in any situation, whether if you're in school going to take a test, if you have the knowledge and the know-how to defeat an opponent, and you can see the weaknesses that we can attack and understand all of that from a coaching standpoint and from a player execution standpoint, then you gain confidence from that. It has nothing to do with who you're playing and what if they're ranked or whatnot. As long as our players can see our vision from our coaching game plans and understand where we can take advantage of their situational defenses or offenses or coverages or whatever it may be. If they can see it as clear as we can, then we feel very, very confident going in the game. So it's all about being prepared and being comfortable and confident.
Hey, Coach, it's Julian from the Signal again. This is more a question, I guess, about the conference in general. You guys have been on national television, a good number of times, and you've been able to showcase your talent to, Georgia State's talent across, the nation. How important do you think it is for you and this program to be showcased like on ESPN, ESPNU, in multiple games so far this season?
I think it's unbelievable. When the NCAA restricting the recruits from coming on campus and witnessing our football program in person, to be able to play in front of a national audience really just brings us to them each and every week. And that's something that we don't get a lot of. So we're very, very appreciative of it. When we talk to our recruits on phone or whatever it may be, they're always saying, yeah, I caught you last Saturday on ESPN, ESPN2, ESPNU, whatever it may be. And everyone for that matter. Everyone. We're in a situation now where people can't get out and they can't go the places they once did. So we're actually getting a lot more exposure because of it.
Coach, I after a question about your running back core, which at one point, one game, it seemed like you're pretty limited. Tucker Gregg goes out and delivers for you. Everybody healthy. It seems like getting to be a pretty crowded room, but it seems like everybody offers a little something different. Talk about that going forward this season. You can change pace. You can get inside, somebody that makes people miss. You got home run hitters. How do you decide who you want to trust with the ball?
Well, we do have a very good situation. And with Seth Page coming back in the mix, now it really throws another element into that running back room. But you got Tucker Gregg in there, Destin Coates. Now we've added Jan Williams to that side. And boy, he's got an explosive nature. Just got to understand that the running concepts and some of the things. It's an exciting thing. It really is. Marcus Carroll, is another true freshman back. And they've all seen action. it is a crowded room. And with one ball, you would think, oh, God, there's going to be a lot of pouted faces and big lips stuck out. But no, these guys really, they embrace one another. You take a guy like Tucker Gregg, for example, big, strong, bruising type guy. And, you know, he just waits for his opportunity. He doesn't bellyache or complain. And when he gets his time, he delivers. And if it's not his time, he sits over there and he pulls for one another or whoever's out there in the situation. And I think they all feel the same way about that. I mean, we lost Destin. He was out with the COVID situation there for a couple games. And these other guys just step up. And it's not just them stepping up. You got to take a very, very consistent game plan in week to week to have guys be able to step up. If we were all over the place in our scheme and what we were trying to do, we would not be successful. But we stay true to who we are, and we continue to run the things that we feel like will always keep us in check, so to speak, or have the opportunity to be successful. And that's why we're able to kind of throw these backs in here and continue right along.
We've got time for one or two more questions if anybody else has one.
One more question, Coach. This is Darlington's first season as on the coaching staff. How impactful has he been on the development of Brown and just his development as a quarterback so far this season?
Dan doesn't have a whole lot of interaction with Quad. To tell you the truth, Dan handles our running backs and our substitutions, and he's a signaler. So there's not a lot of interaction with him. Coach Glenn handles our quarterbacks. And well, what I think Dan may lend to the quarterback group is a guy that they can probably go over there and ask a question to and not feel awkward about it. Sometimes in those meeting rooms, some of these young men, just like I was back in 1991, I didn't want to ask my coach a question that I thought maybe he may look at me like I'm crazy. But I think, with Dan having just played a season ago, they can walk up and say, hey, what about this? Am I thinking correctly on this? And Dan can certainly relay probably a little bit better just being, teammates from a year ago.
Mike, I just wanted to ask one question. Coach, congratulations on the contract extension.
No, thank you. Appreciate it.
What does that mean as far as the long-term, commitment to you and to the program? How's that going to help things overall?
Well, consistency is a great thing. And, I'm certainly very appreciative. Somebody seems to think we're doing a pretty decent job from building a football program and taking steps along the way. And it tells me that they have a vision that they want to see continue to grow. And I certainly do have the same vision as that. And we just want to make this place the very, very best it can be. And, it doesn't matter if it was 1, 2, 3. It doesn't matter. There's confidence. When you have confidence in individuals, they tend to perform. And I think I have confidence in our university and our administration, and it seems like they certainly have confidence in myself and our staff.